Hello everybody, this is Old Soldier. Today we're going to talk about what I carry every day in my truck. Everyday carry in your truck should be like everyday carry in your person. It should be full of items that help you through common problems and maybe not so common problems. The truck does have more load carrying capacity, however. First up is water or water container. That water container, while it has water in it now, is not always full. I always carry some amount of water in my truck, whether it's in the form of bottles in the cab or water in the back for extended expeditions. But it's important to have some sort of water with you. Next up, Pioneer tools, more commonly known as a shovel and an axe. Sometimes this also includes a pick, but I do not carry one of those. The shovel I've had for a while, self-explanatory. There might be times where you need to either dig for your vehicle, and they just come in handy to have for a number of tasks. The axe that I have here is a Fisker / marketed by Gerber. It's brand new. I had an axe in here before. As seen by one of my other episodes, the Fisker products are excellent. Their axes are excellent, and I've had their hatchet for years. But this one is brand new. Haven't used it yet, but I expect the same good things that I've gotten from the Fisker's hatchet. Next up, traction mats. I don't use them often, but when I use them, they're very important. This is my second pair. I tried to go with a pair of Chinese knockoffs. They did not last very long and eventually disintegrated. These are treads, and they've worked great so far. Next up, tire chains. I just have one pair. These are pullover from my previous vehicle. Due to the design of the previous vehicle, the manufacturer's recommendation was to only use one pair in the back. I need to pick up another pair. There's a time and a place, especially in the wintertime in the West, and especially in deep mud. Tire chains are an essential item. Full disclosure, I'm not great at putting the tire chains on and off, and I need to get better. That's one thing that I have, an item I have listed for self-improvement. Shelter is important. There is shelter afforded by the cab of the truck, but I also carry a bivy sack, which is pictured in the lower part of the screen, and the top part is a simple old Walmart tarp that has a million uses or a million ways that you can use to construct an outside shelter. I always keep some form of insulation in the truck. This is a Hill People Gear Mountain Serape. I totally love it. It's well made and acts as a combination cape, poncho liner, and sleeping bag. In the winter months for long trips, I augment it with a sleeping bag, but I do not always carry a sleeping bag year-round in my truck. I keep it in a Sea to Summit waterproof bag. You've seen both of these items in previous videos, some that I've been camping in. For the record, I don't have a relationship with either Hill People Gear or Sea to Summit. Basic items like ice scrapers and ratchet straps can be very important. 1,000 uses for ratchet straps. My previous vehicle had a cargo rack and they're essential. As far as the ice scraper snow brush, you have to see what's going on around you while you're driving. And if you're like me, this deal of many people just scratch out just a very tiny hole that they can see through is unsatisfactory and it's dangerous. I try to keep at least one and sometimes more than one ice scraper in my vehicle. I keep a Rubbermaid container full of odds and ends that would otherwise be rolling around loose. In the items are bungee cord, cargo net, flares, socket set and other tools, jumper cables, tow straps, duct tape, and a quart of oil. These items always come in handy. Recently, coming back from a road trip, I hit a deer and did thousands of dollars of damage to my truck. After that, I had to use duct tape to tape together parts of my truck so I can continue on my journey. Duct tape is always a useful item. I'm not a great mechanic, but I can do basic things, and I do carry some tools. One item of gear that I've been very happy with is the tool roll from Adventure Tool Company. Full disclosure, the owners and I have a previous professional relationship and a friendship that sprang from that. I will tell you that their qualities are first rate and that this tool roll, if you do buy it, it's the last tool roll you'll ever need. Once again, materials and stitching are superb. Full disclosure, this is a non-compensated recommendation. Adventure Tool Company is based in Colorado. I've bought some of their items for my own use and for as gifts, and their customer service has been excellent. A bow saw is a handy item to have in the camp and could potentially help you get obstacles or cut away obstacles in your way, namely trees or tree trunks or branches. This is just a cheap one. Works fine. I keep it and an extra blade in the truck. There are times where you might have to drag something or pull something out of the way, and if it's a tow strap, it might get cut or damaged. There is a time and a place for a choker chain, and I keep one in my truck. If you're going off-road, you're going to have to air down your tires, and that means airing it back up again. Actually, I carry 2 air compressors in this truck. This one is a Vi-Air. It's worked fine for me. The other one is a Slime, and that's worked okay for me as well. I just think it's important, and it comes to airing up and airing down. If you have 2 compressors, it goes twice as fast if you got a buddy. Here is the ubiquitous high lift jack. Jacks are one of those things, especially high lift jacks. I don't use mine often, but when I use it, I really need it. It's mounted on my truck bed with mounts from 519 Fabrications. I've had it from a year. So far, I've been very happy with it. I have no relationship with 519 Fabrications. They're a small shop out of Michigan, but this is the only product that I've used of theirs, but so far so good, and I've been very happy with it, and it's reasonably priced. I keep a couple Clevises attached to my rear bumper. They are always handy in conjunction with the tow strap in case you have to tow somebody else. It helps with hooking them up. As you can tell from the previous footage, I have a Tonu bed cutter. The one that I use is from Diamondback. I've had it for about a year. I've been extremely satisfied with it. It's a little spendy, but to me it is sturdy and it's worth it to keep your gear and your luggage secure. Once again, I have no fiduciary relationship with Diamondback bed covers. Moving into the cab, in the rear cab seats, I keep a water bottle that has a water filter integral to it and a fire kit that has dryer lint and a book of matches. Year round, I keep a light insulating top and a rain shell. These are pictured here. I might have more, but I won't have less. In the cab, I keep a couple more ice scrapers and a roll of paper towels. The ice scrapers are self-explanatory. The roll of paper towels, there's always a need for it. For emergency Kleenex, to clean up spills, to emergency toilet paper. As you can see here, I make full use of the under-the-seat storage in the rear passenger compartment. Let's go through some of the items that I keep back. In addition to the dryer lint, I keep a fire kit that consists of a ferro rod, some combustible material fire starter, and in the far left, I keep a couple of bellows in order to help start the fire and keep it going. Also under the seat, I keep an ARB air down tool, a small can of WD-40, which has a million uses, not the least of which is to lubricate the high lift jack, and a pair of leather work gloves. Leather work gloves are cheap and protect your hands from sharp objects, maybe broken glass, and then if you're around a vehicle crash, maybe something that's hot. I might be the last guy in the world to keep road maps in his truck. I don't care. I still keep a couple in my truck. Also under my back seat, I keep a small fire extinguisher and a Duracell inverter. The inverter works okay. I've used it a couple times. I know that underneath the back seat is not the ideal place to keep a fire extinguisher. I'm working on a different solution in the bed of the truck, but better than I can have one at all rather than not have one. So for right now, that's what I'm rolling with. It sucks to be hungry. I keep an emergency food ration bar. This one is apple cinnamon, and these are available at Walmart. Shelf stable, hot, cold. The shelf life on this is 5 years. Relatively cheap. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. In addition to the tow strap that I keep in my box in the back, I keep one under the seat as well. This one is more heavy duty. I also keep a Snatch Block for the winch. This one is from Smittybilt. I left it out of the previous frame, but I also carry a tree strap for the Snatch Block. A couple other useful items I keep in the cab of the truck. I like to have a couple of flashlights. This one's a mag light. It's the winter month, but I still keep a bottle of suntan lotion or sunscreen, because where I live in the wintertime, you can still get sunburnt. Toilet paper, self-explanatory, and a small boo-boo kit. Now, in my truck, I carry a trauma kit and a boo-boo kit. Some things that I keep in my dash, other than registration and proof of insurance, is a trauma kit and a fixed blade knife. My trauma kit is pretty basic. It consists of a tourniquet, a pressure dressing, some Curlix, some tape, some gloves, and a way to secure an airway, a nasopharyngeal tube. If you do have a trauma kit, be sure, absolutely 100% sure, that you get first-rate professional training on how to use it. A couple items I'd like to keep in the driver's side door. Another pair of simple leather gloves. Another flashlight. This is a cheap one, lightweight, but works good. Something happens to it, it's no big deal. This used to be a combination air tire gauge that no longer works, but the reason why I keep it in here has a hook knife, good for cutting seatbelts, whether it's a self-rescue if we come across an accident and had to cut somebody out of their seatbelt. And this vehicle does have automated the air pressure gauge, but it's always good to have a manual backup. And finally, for backup means of communication, I do have my GMRS radio license, and that is a GMRS radio. Funny story, I just got my license last year. The family members that I hunt with, we use these pretty regularly, and I got this installed in this, or I installed it in this vehicle, and went on quite a long trip. And when I got there, I had lost the antenna on my trip, and still couldn't use it. So live and learn. So folks, that's the gear that I carry in my truck. It works for me so far. It has worked for me pretty well. This is a relatively new vehicle, but my other four-wheel drive vehicle that I had before it, I had for almost 20 years. And I'm not the most experienced off-roader, but I have had a significant amount of experience. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Hopefully, if you're new to the game, this gives you some ideas on how to prepare your vehicles. This is Old Soldier out.